Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling one of the most, I guess, frustrating puzzles in human behavior.
It really is.
Why do really smart people, people who can code, ace their math tests, or, beat a boss in Elden Ring that I can't even touch, why do they keep doing things they absolutely know will get them in trouble?
It's that classic paradox, isn't it? Like the kid in class, let's call him Jaden, the class clown. He's sharp, maybe even gifted, but every single week he's shouting some joke in class, knowing, just absolutely knowing he's getting detention.
He knows the outcome, he sees it coming, and he does it anyway. Today, we're going to try and solve that puzzle using the framework from Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's legendary partner.
Right, because Munger spent his life on this. He believed that pretty much all human action comes down to two massive kind of invisible forces.
Okay, what are they?
First, you've got incentives, so the rewards and the punishments. And second, psychological biases, which he famously called the buggy software in our brains.
Buggy software. I like that. So our mission today is to basically give you a pair of Munger's X-ray glasses. By the end of this, you should be able to look at almost any situation and spot these hidden forces at work.
And the goal is to stop being, a puppet pulled by strings you can't see and start being the person who actually understands the mechanism.
Okay, so let's start with a big one. The first force, incentives.
Yeah, the heavyweight champion for sure. Our sources all point to this idea that the human brain has this relentless calculator. It's always running.
Always asking what?
What's in it for me? What do I get if I do this? What do I lose if I don't? That's the constant background noise in our heads.
And the key, I think, is that we always assume it's about money. But Munger's whole point was if you only look for the dollar signs, you're missing like 90% of the picture.
That is the crucial insight, absolutely. Let's go back to Jaden, our class clown. On paper, the incentive is negative, right? Detention, angry teacher, maybe a call home.
So why does he do it? What's the real payoff?
The payoff is social currency. It's not cash. He yells out something ridiculous like, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, but it's also where my pet dragon lives. And the whole class just loses it.
He's a hero for 30 seconds.
He's a legend. He gets status, he gets attention, he gets a feeling of belonging. In that moment, he has way more social points than the kid who just gave the boring, correct answer.
And that reward, the laughter, the status, it's immediate. Detention is what, this afternoon? Tomorrow. It's in the future.
That's the thing. The brain massively prefers the reward that's right here, right now. It's an instant high-potency hit of dopamine from 20 of his peers. The future punishment feels, vague and distant.
Okay, but I'm still a little stuck on this. Detention is a guaranteed negative.
Yeah.
Pretty big stick. Why doesn't it work?
It's a great question. Munger would say it's about the timing and the density of the experience. Detention is this dull, drawn-out future pain.
Whereas the laughter is...
It's a huge, intense, immediate gain. The brain's calculator isn't really weighing the long term. It's just maximizing the feeling of reward in this exact moment.
Which brings us to the internet, where this whole system gets put on steroids. I'm thinking of that YouTuber who jumped off a roof into a tiny kiddie pool.
The perfect example. The physical risk is enormous, but the potential incentive...
It's astronomical. 10 million views, ad money, brand deals, people in the comments yelling, "You're a legend!"
It's a lottery ticket, basically, a ticket out of a normal life. And an incentive that big just completely warps the brain's risk calculation. The irrational act starts to look completely logical to the person chasing that reward.
So the main takeaway here, the core Munger idea, is that incentives are just king. If you can figure out the real incentive, not just the obvious one, you can predict what someone's going to do most of the time.
90% of the time, he'd say. And it's a clinical view. He's not judging the person's character. He's just saying, look at the system they're in. The system is producing the behavior.
All right, so if incentives are the fuel, what's guiding the car off the cliff? That's where the biases come in, the buggy software.
Yeah, these are the glitches, the little gremlins in the control room of your brain pulling the wrong levers. They're ancient programming that made sense for survival on the savannah but causes total chaos now.
Okay, let's run through some of Munger's greatest hits. First up, one we see everywhere, social proof.
This one is simple. It's the idea that if everyone else is doing it, it must be okay. It's our deep-seated herd instinct.
The slime craze is the example from the sources. It wasn't some brilliant marketing campaign that made borax sales jump 400%.
Not at all. It was just kids seeing other kids doing it. That's the only proof they needed that it was a cool, acceptable, worthwhile thing to do. The group's behavior validated the action.
Okay, next up, and this one is Painfully relatable for me. Reward super response tendency.
Ah, yes, the I want the cookie now W impulse. Our brain just loves fast rewards and has like a total contempt for patience.
This is why I'll stay up until 3 in the morning grinding a level in a video game.
Exactly. The reward for leveling up, that little notification, it's instant. It's a direct dopamine hit. The reward for going to sleep.
Is feeling good tomorrow, which is vague and far away.
And the brain just rejects it. It goes for the sure thing right now.
I see this with food all the time. My delayed reward is saving money and being healthier if I cook. My instant reward is pizza showing up in 30 minutes. The little gremlin wins that fight almost every time.
It's a powerful, powerful bias. Okay, next on the list is liking and loving tendency.
This is the doing dumb stuff for people I like bias.
Right. It's when our emotional connection to someone just completely overrides our rational judgment.
The small-scale example is letting your friend copy your Fortnite skin code, even though you know it's against the rules and you could both get banned.
But it gets bigger. This is why people hire a friend for a job they aren't qualified for, or approve a project at work that has flaws just because they really like the person who presented it.
So our affection for someone literally acts like a filter, hiding the flaws.
Munger would say it dramatically lowers our critical thinking. The brain prioritizes keeping that good feeling in the relationship over making an objective, correct decision.
That's kind of terrifying. All right, number 4, commitment and consistency bias.
This is a big one. It's our deep, irrational need to stick with a decision we've made, even if it's clearly a bad one. I said I'd do it, so now I have to.
The cinnamon challenge. That's the perfect example. You announce to everyone on your Discord that you're going to do it.
And now you're committed. It's a terrible, painful idea. But backing down now means losing face. So you end up coughing your lungs out on a live stream just to be consistent with the image you created.
Wild. Okay, last one for our list. Deprival superreaction tendency.
This is that instant, intense, almost toddler-like rage when something you have is taken away. You can't take my thing.
The iPad example. The minute a parent says, no more iPad for tonight, that device becomes the most important object in the known universe.
Exactly. The reaction is completely out of proportion to the thing's actual value. Munger says it's an evolutionary thing. Losing what you have feels way more threatening than the pleasure of gaining something new. It's a primal defense mechanism.
So we've got this huge force of incentives on one side, and then this whole cocktail of glitches, these biases. What happens when they all collide?
Well, that's when you get what Munger called a Lollapalooza moment. It's the perfect storm. 3 or 4 of these powerful biases combined with a huge incentive, and rationality just shuts down completely.
Let's use the Tide Pod challenge from a few years back to break this down. The act itself is just insane, biting into laundry detergent.
Totally self-destructive. But let's look at the forces. First, the incentive. What was it?
Massive. Instant internet thing. Millions of views. The shock value.
So the incentive is already dialed up to 11. Then you start layering on the biases. Social proof.
Huge. You saw thousands of other people doing it. So your brain goes, well, it must be a thing people do. It normalizes the insanity.
Then you add reward super response. You post the video, and the likes, the comments, the views, they pour in immediately. It's an instant, addictive feedback loop.
And the final piece is commitment and consistency. You told your friends you were going to do it. You can't back out now and look like a coward.
And boom, that's the Lollapalooza. The rational part of the brain is just completely overwhelmed. All the gremlins are at the controls all at once.
There was also that devious licks trend on TikTok back in 2021. Kids were literally destroying school bathrooms.
Stealing sinks, soap dispensers, whatever they could.
The incentive, again, was pure viral fame, getting clout. But what were the biases?
Well, social proof was the engine, right? The hashtag was trending, everyone was doing it. But then you had a really interesting one, deprival superreaction.
How does that fit in?
There was this sense of, the school system is boring, it deprives us of fun, so we're going to deprive them of sinks. It was a weird, destructive lashing out against a perceived loss of freedom or control.
A kind of twisted protest. And I guess commitment kicks in again. You steal the paper towel dispenser, now you have to escalate to keep your status in the trend.
And there it is, another Lollapalooza. Thousands of dollars in damage, all because that perfect storm of forces was created.
Okay, so just knowing this, just being able to spot the mechanism, that's the superpower. Because once you see the strings, they don't have the same control over you.
Awareness is everything. If you know you have a weakness for a certain bias, you can build a system to counteract it. Like that story from the source material about beating the reward super response tendency.
Right, the problem was spending allowance money instantly on V-Bucks. It was just automatic. The gremlin demanded the instant reward.
So what was the solution? It was simple and purely mechanical. They created a delay jar.
A delay jar.
Yeah. Anytime they wanted to buy something, they had to put the money in the jar and wait 2 weeks. They just physically forced a delay. They introduced friction into the system.
You can just imagine the internal battle. That,
Mm.
I want it now, part of the brain must have been furious.
It was. But by forcing the delay, the reward for saving eventually became bigger and more meaningful than the reward for the instant little purchase.
And the outcome was they saved, what, $120 and bought a whole Nintendo Switch game. A much bigger, better reward.
They basically built a system to defeat their own buggy software. And that's the whole point.
So here's the mission for you, our listener. We want you to try this for yourself. For the next 3 days, just carry a notebook or use your phone and plus detective.
Whenever you see a weird, seemingly irrational action, either by someone else or, even yourself, just write it down.
And then later, analyze it. What was the real underlying incentive? Status, attention, and which biases were in the room pulling the levers. You will start to see these patterns absolutely everywhere.
It's like putting on the X-ray glasses.
So just to recap the big ideas, people often act irrationally not because they're dumb, but because of these powerful, invisible forces. Find the real incentive, and you can usually predict the behavior.
Remember that biases are just universal software bugs. And when a few of them combine with a big incentive, you get a lollapalooza. Total craziness.
Spotting these forces is the first step to not being controlled by them. It's about becoming the puppeteer of your own mind, not the puppet.
Exactly.
So after you do this for a few days and you start seeing these mechanisms, ask yourself this final question. What is the single biggest decision you're facing this week? And how might your own brain be using these forces against you, pushing you toward the easy or the fast or the high status answer instead of the right one?
Go catch those gremlins.
We'll see you on the next Deep Dive.